Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Before we get started on this build, I want to do a quick shout out. I was contacted by one of my viewers, Joshua Hazard. He sent me some pictures of the build of his NPC Empire Strikes Back version X-Wing. Said he was motivated by my previous video where I did a build of that replica, and he did a fantastic job. So I just want a quick shout out. I'm going to post some quick pictures of that, and then we'll move on to the video. Hey, and welcome guys. Today I have my latest eBay find. I think I built this kit years and years ago, long before my channel. This is off the Macross series, or for me it was Robotech back when I was young watching the show. And it has a lot of names in here that I probably can't pronounce correctly, so I'm not going to try. I remember this as the Zentraedi kind of flagship. Forgot the name of the main bad guy again. I haven't not up to date on my Macross or Robotech lore. Anyway, we do have the this model kit. Found it really cheap again on eBay. The kit's by this company right here, ARI Plastic Model, and I think it's pretty old. I haven't really looked to see a lot of the writings in Japanese. It's 1 to 20,000 scale. And I believe the ship's supposed to be something like 4,000 meters long. So this quick look, it's a pretty simple kit. It's an older kit, obviously. You do get a little Macross or SDF1, the super dimensional fortress. Let's see if we can cut this open real quick. The box is in good condition. So I got it for really nice price. I mean, it's a small kit. You wouldn't expect to pay a whole lot. Looks like you do get a, I think that's glue. Obviously, we're not going to be using that. You get some decals. Decals look to be in decent shape. And they look to be for the Zentraedi ship. So not a whole lot of pieces. You get 2 runners. You get a display base. I think that's designed to hold both ships. Looks like there's 3. I'm not sure what's going on here, but you do get the SDF1. It has its carriers, little tiny. But my focus is really going to be on the Zentraedi ship. You have really, pretty nicely detailed considering the time that it was made. Not a whole lot of parts here, which is good. You have like the engine shroud. Now, I'm going to make a simple project difficult, and I'm going to try to add some engine lighting and maybe some other little like window lights along the side. Just kind of looking at it. I don't remember the engine lights. Again, I have to go and look. It looks like there is some kind of lighting that kind of runs down the side of here, and then maybe, this is an animated show, obviously, so I don't know exactly what's meant to be like, but we'll try to add some, I definitely want to try to do the engine lighting, which will involve cutting out, you got a solid piece here with these engine nozzles, so I'll have to kind of drill and cut these sides right here. I don't know if that's coming into focus. Let's see if I can get that into the light here. And anyway, we'll cut that out. Should be enough space in there to mount some LEDs. I'll have to cut through these sections. Again, it's a big hollow space, so it shouldn't be too hard to add a little bit of lighting to give it a little bit of life. I love when something's lit like that and gives it life. Other than that, you have some different pods, some kind of arrays coming out. These bumps on the side, I'm not sure if they're like weapon pods or what they're supposed to do. I think they're supposed to be weapon pods. Could be wrong. So anyway, that is the project. Shouldn't take terribly long. I'll probably try to put this. Obviously, I'm not going to try to light that little tiny thing, but we'll maybe try to put it together and give it a basic paint job. But I'm going to focus on this, and we'll just see where that goes. All right, you can see here, just working on the bottom of our ship here, and you can see I got some fiber optics running. I've attached the support stand here, just a piece of metal tubing coming up, and attached in there. I got a little two-part epoxy holding it into place, and then I drilled out, I believe it's 0.25 millimeter holes for this 0.25 millimeter fiber optic. Now I'm just going to light the bottom, and so when the top comes on, we'll have some life in there, have some engine lights and stuff. I haven't put the engine lights in yet, just kind of showing you the different fiber optics, and that was a bit fiddly to deal with this really thin, drill out those really small holes. Now, the good thing about this 0.25 is it's very flexible. It's hard to break it by flexing it, so you can make some pretty drastic turns in it without damaging the fiber optic. And very carefully kind of taped it down and put some hot glue, not on the fiber optics, but kind of on the other parts, holding it all into place. And of course, I've tested it. Now I'm going to be lighting it with a, as you can see, a wire coming here is a 606 SMD, kind of like the ones that are going to be used for the engine lights going in there. And there's a bright white SMD, that's a single one that's going to be lighting the fiber optics. And then for the engines in the back, I got a couple more of these 606, and I got these off Amazon. They're just kind of pre-wired. There's no, they send resistors with them, but as long as you run just like 3 volts, they should work fine without any resistor. Here we have 3 volts. And as you can see here, turn that on. These are blue, and these are going to be the engine lights, and that will light my engine section. And that's this part right here. Now this is a solid part, so I had to drill out and file away the little vents between the different engines, and it wasn't too hard. I just took a small drill bit and put a series of holes. Took an X-Acto knife to kind of cut away the connecting part, and then took a small file like this one and kind of cleaned up the different slots. And I've since put on a clear plastic piece of styrene. I first sanded it so it would diffuse the light. Kind of see the effect we're going for right here. It'll be a nice blue engine color, and I messed around with reds and whites and stuff, and I just kind of like the blues. I think it'll be a good contrast. But anyway, that will be the effect of this engine. Now I've glued in this part right here, and this kind of just slides in between the bottom and the top parts of our ship. And of course I'll have to mount those SMDs back here, but you get the idea. So that will be my lighting for the engine. That's all the lighting I'm going to do on that. And then we'll be connecting, of course, the top of our ship. And there's a little fiddly bits that kind of glue in here and there. There's a number of parts that go on the side that have to be painted, so we will get to that shortly. Now I've been working on it comes with a little stand. Obviously I'm not going to use that. It does come with a little SDF1 or Macross, or however you want to say it. I painted it up, not super happy with the colors. I think the colors are not great, but I don't think it's bad looking given the size. It's only maybe 3 inches long, not quite, and just kind of painted up the best could, kind of going off the box art that came with the model. And as you can see here, this is going to be my display base. And so what this is the square part around here is a design that I made on Tinkercad and 3D printed on my filament printer, and I leave a little cutout that will fit my on and off switches, and then I can attach my batteries. You can see here where, and I don't put a bottom on it, so I can attach this to whatever kind of base. I mean, you can attach it to a piece of wood or foam or whatever you're using. This is kind of some compressed wood that was in like a shipping box or something. I call a small section of that. And then I found this cityscape on Thingiverse. If you just search cityscape on Thingiverse, you will see this one. I think it's one of the first ones that pops up, and I thought it was pretty neat. I scaled it to size, and it wasn't too much scaling going on. It's pretty close to this in its original size, but I did scale it to fit my display base. And I've printed it out again on my FDM printer. It came out pretty good. Took it about I think 16 or 17 hours to print this out. I don't have the fastest printer. I think I have a Neptune 3 Pro is what I have from Elegoo. But did a good job, and it really captures that city. Now, I've messed around with painting. At first, I just thought about, I painted it black, was just dry brushing just to give it something, but it wasn't looking good, so I finally went to doing a little bit of painting, as you can see here, and I did this with craft acrylics. I did, of course, a green. I painted in some of the roads, and then I just went through mostly dry brushing some of the buildings, some tans and browns, some mixtures of that green. To kind of break up the color contrast, and I think it turned out pretty cool. If you look real closely, obviously it's, you know, not super detailed, and I didn't worry about being super accurate on everything. But the reason I wanted to have this is to give the ships a sense of scale. These are supposed to be gigantic ships, and if you just kind of put them on a plain stand, you really don't get that. So, and I don't. This obviously isn't scale for scale. I didn't worry about trying to figure out, all right, this is so many, you know, this is 1/4000 scale, that's 1/4, so what's the cities? But it does portray, I think, at least, a sense of scale. You got skyscrapers here, and these ships are dwarfing the skyscrapers. So it does kind of give you a unique sense of scale and just the way to display it. I've already cut the holes, so this one I'll kind of go in here somewhere. Obviously it'll be lit, and then we'll have that in there. So that's the plan right now, and I think that looks pretty cool. I'm pretty pleased with displaying it on my site. I'm happy with how my display base came out, and so now I just need to work on closing this up and moving on to painting. I have to figure it out because, like I said, there are quite a few fiddly bits on here that I need to be careful with painting, so I'm going to have to look at you know, obviously I'm going to attach the top and bottom. There's like the top's kind of a greenish color, the bottom's more of a blue. It's got bluish color, so it's kind of a two-tone color, and then it has some yellows and stuff in there. I have to figure out what all is going there. So I'm going to work on that, and we'll come back once we make some progress on it. All right, I have my ship all primed up, and as you can see here, I actually have the base coat on the underside applied, and I just used a rattle can spray primer to base coat everything. And then I took my airbrush and made a mixture, kind of a blue-gray, using a little bit of this Gray Z from Vallejo and a little bit of this French blue, just like probably 10-to-1 ratio. I'm not exact, but then airbrush that on, didn't worry about the top section right here, just kind of got it on the bottom. Now I've also applied a clear satin coat to protect this finish here. And then what I did from there is I went ahead and trimmed my fiber optics. So the reason I did it this way is I need to mask off and paint this one section green. The top part of the ship needs to be painted green. So I went ahead and painted that while the fiber optics were still kind of out. And once I got that coat on, I cut them away. Now I can mask this kind of along this line right here is a separation point. And then I can airbrush that, and just kind of looking through my greens now. I have this airbrush green color. It looks to be kind of a medium, kind of bright green from the animated. It's always difficult to paint real life objects based off an animated show, but I'm going to do my best. And so this color like here was more of a kind of a bluish color. I'm going to do the top half in green. We've got some yellows going on with these pods that stick out the side. And we'll go from there. We're going to do some washes to kind of tie it all together and bring out some of the detail. I didn't worry about masking out the engine grills since it's kind of inset a little bit. I just kind of sprayed from angles, so I have checked my lighting. Everything seems to be good. I think I have one fiber optic right here for some reason that isn't shining. I don't know if it broke or in the middle of gluing, if some glue leaked down onto it and destroyed it. I don't know. But most of the fiber optics seem to be working. My engine light's working, so that's all good. So I'm going to go ahead and get the green coat on there, and we also have some decals to put on the ship. I have kind of a picture here. It's not a very accurate if you kind of compare these pictures. You got kind of a more staggered engine grate there. You got a narrower front end, which this is a more bulbous kind of front end. But there are some decals that are included that will help kind of give it a better look. And there's their version of the painted ship, and mine isn't going to look much like that, but we'll see how it turns out. All right, you can see here I got some of the, or most of the painting done here, pretty much all of it. I've added in the top coat, as you can see here, and that was this airbrush paint. Just this green from US Art Supply. I did mix in a few drops of some black airbrush paint to darken it up a little bit. It was a little bit bright. And then I did some detailed painting on the sides right here, these yellow bulbous parts, and then you have kind of this light color that we have here. And you can see I've also added in some decals. Now, it comes with quite a few decals. I mostly stuck with the ones that I thought were more relevant, or at least look better. I didn't want to overload this small model with decals everywhere. So, and then I put a gloss coat, a satin coat over all this, clear coat, once I got the decals on. One little trick on these yellow parts here, something I learned recently, is like when you're painting a bright color over a dark color, it's good to kind of paint it white first and then go in with your color. The only kind of yellow that I had was a transparent yellow, so I did this light gray first, which is this color right here. I did that on all these bulbs, and it made painting that yellow color much simpler. Just a couple of coats to kind of get a nice bright yellow coat here. So from here I'm going to do an oil wash to get in all these nice details, all these panel lines and stuff, darken this a few more areas up, and probably do a little bit of weathering with some dry pastels, and then I'll attach it to the display base. And when we come back, we'll look at the finished model. All right, well, here's my finished build of the Macross or Robotech Zentraedi Fleet Command Ship with its little diorama. I think it turned out pretty well. Colors, I'm not sure if I'm 100% happy with the colors, but at this point I'm not going to change it. And I have an upcoming project where I'm going to be doing a bigger version of this ship. However, so here's the finish. I really like how the cityscape diorama came out. Not 100% scale accurate, but it gives you kind of the effect that these are massive ships. So I just finished up, have a couple AA batteries running up into my SMDs. As you can see, we have some window lining. I did have one fiber optic. I think it got pushed back in there, so it's not showing. Look at the other side at the fiber optics on that. And just to give it a little bit of life. And then, of course, our engine lighting, we'll look at that. I think that turned out pretty well. And one of the weak points is that the front and back end of the ship just really doesn't capture that animated drawing of the ship. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Just a small project. And until next time, everybody have a good one.